Well, hello, fellow warning and art fans, yet again. It is Ken Lawson, and I am back with yet another drawing. Seems like I do these once in a while, doesn't it? I'm going to talk through a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I don't have as much new things I learned from drawing as I did with the others, because this was my fourth drawing, and so I had learned quite a bit. But I did try a couple different things that I hadn't tried before. But on top of that, I also wanted to tell you that I am working on a sculpture right now as well of Alejandra, kind of a rock and roll superhero-y sculpture. And it's my first one ever, so hopefully it will go well. I just jump in with both feet sometimes, and that's what I did with this, and it is surprisingly going very well. But that's all I got to say about that. So, as far as this drawing goes, I didn't show the laying out with the carbon paper, which I'm not going to do anymore. I have actually found a new way of laying things out that I'm going to do with my next drawing, of just bringing everything up in Photoshop that I'm going to draw and size it to the paper, and then overlay the paper on the monitor to trace the guidelines to get the layout correct. And it seems like it's going to work quite well, so my next drawing, that's what I'm going to try, and that way I don't accidentally get carbon a little dark in places and can't get rid of it, because it does not erase well. So this one I decided to concentrate a little more on getting parts of it looking better to start, rather than just go all over the place and not have anything to where it looked good and then go back and finish. But it was a nice approach, because starting with the eyes and just kind of getting the face filled in, it was nice. I am also going to tell a couple little stories and a couple little funny things. So hopefully you'll hang around for it. Or if you do not want to hear all that, go ahead and just put on some morning music or whatever music of choice you have and mute me. I will not take offense. Now, it's very possible I'll be walking around the house and all of a sudden my voice will not come out anymore. It's because so many of you muted me that it took away my voice. But I don't think that'll happen. I think that's the stuff of Twilight Zone. But I am just going to ramble on for about the 12-13 minutes that this video goes on, and tell you things as I see them in the drawing. But also, someone asked me the other day when I was doing my alley statue and posted the beginnings of it, why I always seem to start with alley. It does seem like I always start my drawings with her, my paintings. She's always jumped out at me as the most, traditionally model-esque looking of them, and her features are just very, very unique and stand out. And so artistically, that is what I lean towards. She just has very nice features, to draw and paint. So that's probably why I start with her. And with the sculpture, I started with her because she has a very definitive pose and expression and all that, and I thought it would be the easiest one to see if I could sculpt at all, and that it would be a face that I could, at least if I got the expression right, then it would be very close to looking like her. So that is why I usually start with Ale. And I love her as a bass player, so that helps too. For those of you who don't know, I am a musician as well, so I'm drawn to lots and lots of creative things. So I just have inspiration from all kinds of things, and in the last few years, For people who haven't seen any of my other stuff, I got inspired by the warning musically, and then they started sparking my artistic, creative juices flowing in, and I have gotten back into so many artistic things that I had quit many, many years ago. So I have them to thank for sparking me creatively. And it has been in so many different areas that I end up with too many projects going at one time and just can't ever seem to shut my brain off from the next thing I want to do. Right now I have multiple projects going because I am still doing paintings of all three girls that match the pencil drawings but will be nice oil paintings. And then I have one pencil drawing next that is a surprise for them, so I am going to hold off on talking about that. So, once again, all I got to say about that. One other thing, and this is totally non sequitur, and it was just something I found very funny. I don't know how many of you may have ever watched the YouTube channel MXR Plays. It's basically a couple that, you know, brings up memes or different things or videos and talks about them. And they're very nice and entertaining. But they brought up a meme the other day that's one of the funnier things that I've heard, but yet so true. It was comparing men friends and women friends and showing the difference. It was basically just a little comic strip that they were looking at. And it was, the first thing was a woman asking another woman, "Hey, do you think I look fat?" And of course the woman replies, "No, I think that you are a beautiful person inside and out." So then the man asks his man friend, "Do you think I look fat?" And he says, "Look, dude, I have 5 fat friends and you are 4 of them." And I just thought that was one of the funniest punchlines I've heard in a while. And what's so ironic about it is it's so true of how men and women, you know, interact with their friends and the things they say. I have lots of guy friends, of course. Well, not lots. I have a few guy friends. I tend to pick quality over quantity. But yes, guys are very, very blunt and insulting with each other, and luckily women are not as bad. But I kind of wish guys would follow women's lead a little bit more and be less harsh with each other, because sometimes, you know, guys can say something thinking, oh, they're just being funny because, you know, ragging on their friends, but some of those things stick. They can say something that doesn't just roll right off the back. So I know this is totally off topic, but where else am I going to say this? Anyway, that's all of that part. Now I'll talk about the drawing some. I have learned quite a bit. The other alley drawing I did was on the crappy paper, and it was my first one, so I hadn't had as much, practice getting back into drawing again. And this picture I've always loved of her. When I look at it now, I don't think it looks as much like her personality as it does just kind of a standard rock and roll, you know, look and everything. She seems to be more open and just funny and all that in public more than she used to be, and I want to do something to convey that down the line, because, you know, this looks cool and all that, but I definitely want to get my drawings to where they are conveying the emotion of the person a little more as well. And so I'm going to try and do some looser paintings soon that I just kind of, you know, don't go for the detail as much just to start. By the way, right there on the lips, if you notice, I'm getting the highlight reflection on the bottom of her upper lip, because, you know, many people get that, especially if they're wearing glossy lipstick. You'll get the reflection from the bottom lip coming up onto the top. And it's a subtle thing, but it makes a huge difference. So I just thought I would point that out. And if you notice here, I'm using a brush to smooth things more. It's something I picked up just from watching people drawing and doing those kind of videos. And the smudge stick works great for some things, but you get a little more subtlety sometimes with the brush, and you can get smoother areas. And on this one, I really wanted the skin to have nice, smooth transitions. I think I will do better the next time. I bought bigger paper so that I could start getting more detail. Now, this is good paper, don't get me wrong. It's the Strathmore 400 Smooth, and I think it's 11 by 17, but I got 18 by 24 paper for next time. And we'll see how that goes, because it'll be nice to really get into it. Now, something else I'll point out right there, what my hand was sitting on, that piece of metal. I tend to put things together with what I have. So when I built my workstation, I basically built it out of everything that I had laying around, whether it's a glass tabletop that I saved because I thought, oh, I'll use that one day, you know, or the glass that I'm drawing on is actually from an old screen door. And screen door went bad, but the glass part was still really good, so I kept it. Probably 25 years ago, and knew that one day I would use it. So it became something that I could lean up against the wall, give me a sturdy background, something I could tape to, and I'll be able to put notches in my glass that comes away from it that I set everything on, to where I can angle the glass along the notches and still have it sit back against the wall. So that's going to be really cool when I get it done. I'm going to do a kind of a tour of my studio soon. But the hard thing I'm putting my hand on is the bottom metal of a door frame. And it manages to sit against the glass, or against the top and bottom of the frame of the glass, but not go against the glass. So I can move back and forth, put my hand there, it's sturdy, never presses, and help me out a lot. I know I didn't get into a whole lot into this one as far as the drawing goes. I apologize for that, but I looked at my time here and I'm almost done with the drawing, and I feel like it just kind of flew by. That pencil I'm using is interesting, that black one. It's basically graphite with just a coating on it, so there's no wood. The whole thing is just the graphite with a coating to hold it all together. And so it'll stretch a little further and gives me really nice, I really liked working with it. This is my first time. And here of course down here, I didn't want to go into a lot of detail at the bottom. To be honest, I was also, this one I had started and Allie signed it, and I'll put the video of that at the end. So I knew I was going to be doing more drawings on the bigger paper, and it made me actually a little anxious to finish this one. But the others I had done sketchy at the bottom as well, so it turned out okay. But I knew that I'd be doing another drawing and was ready to move on to that one a little bit. So I left this even a little sketchier than the others, but I think it ended up working well. And here we go with the final drawing. I'll be doing the zooming in and out as usual, but I think she turned out pretty damn good, if I say so myself. But I do appreciate you all sticking around and listening to me ramble on about this and that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will tack the little movie on here at the end, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye.
Nice.
Thank you.
Wow. It's so accurate. Yeah. I like